Hello everyone, a very good evening. We are starting the new chapter, that is First War of Independence 1857. This chapter is in history book of class 8th, right? Okay, so before starting, let us understand what does the heading of chapter means. The First War of Independence. So initially, before starting, first let us talk that what do you mean by war? See, war never happened between two people. It always happens between two parties. There is a first party and a second party. In the war of 1857, when we talk, who were the parties? There were two parties. One, Indians, and second, Britishers. So, why did they fight? That is, there might be some reason behind that, so they fought. Now, what was the result of the war? So, before moving forward, first what we'll be studying? That we'll be studying the causes of the revolt. Okay, if any war happens, if any revolt happens, then there are certain number of causes behind that. One thing can never cause a revolt. There are n number of causes. Those cumulatively form a background for the revolt. Similar thing happened in this revolt, in the revolt of 1857. See, there are political causes. Like in political causes, when we read, we find out that Britishers were not the good people. Britishers always found that they make the promises, break the promises. First, so they lose their political prestige. In political causes, we find out that what Britishers wanted, that they wanted to rule the country. So they applied every method to politically conquer. They applied the method of subsidiary alliance. They applied the method of Doctrine of Lapse and every such thing. Now, what more are the causes behind this war? So there were certain social causes, religious causes. We'll be discussing each and every causes in a very detailed manner in the upcoming slides. There were economic causes. See, money plays a very important role in anything, especially when you are ruling a nation, when you are giving a control, then control over finance gives you enormous power. Similarly happened, there were certain economic causes. Britishers came and they destroyed the traditional fabric of the Indian economy. When this traditional fabric destroyed, entire backbone of Indian economy was destroyed. Military causes, military was not happy with the Britishers. Indian soldiers were not happy with the Britishers. And there were some administrative causes. See, what happens is when you start ruling a nation, then you must keep in mind that the administration is the backbone of any nation. Now, what did they do? They changed the administrative causes, the administrative reform. They made the administrative reform. What these reform did? These reform, they were actually made for the benefit of Britishers, and Indians were reduced to the position of beggars. Henceforth, there were some administrative causes also. There were some immediate causes also. We'll be discussing each and every cause in the detail. See, first, in political causes, let us discuss what we are going to discuss in political causes. In political causes, there are more number of, this is just the broad headline. So, understanding these are the causes of war. War always happens because of n number of causes, as I already told you. So in this revolt, in this war, there were so many causes. There were political, social, economic, military, immediate cause, administrative causes, etc. Now, going in detail, let us come in detail that what actually were the political causes. Now see, before moving forward, tell me one thing. What happens when there is a war or a revolt? There are two things. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose. Actually, what happened and what is the duration? Tell me one more thing. What is the duration? A war happens for 1 day or 2 days. That's it. See, this was a revolt. Revolt means I'm not happy with you, I'm against you, and whatever you are doing, I'm restricting it. Right? I'm restricting the changes. And henceforth, the revolt happens. But in war, what happens is either you win or you lose. However, what happened in this, actually Indians lost. Now, Indians lost. Britishers also died. Many people of Indians were supporters of Britishers. Many people were against in India. Okay. So there are certain causes. What are those? We have already discussed these. Broadly, we have discussed these 6 causes. Right? Now, going in detail, we have to see that how far this revolt was. What was the expansion of the revolt? Who all participated? Did the whole India participate? Or some people participated? Entire North India participated. However, this revolt could not go up to South India. So first, this is not the War of Independence. Though heading is the first War of Independence. Yes, right, we call it War of Independence, but entire nation did not participate. Only North Indians participated. Right? So primarily we will be discussing about the cities of North India. Because this revolt could not touch the South India. Henceforth, what now we need to know is, what broadly you know, that there was a revolt. One. Second thing you know, there were certain causes. And what are those causes? As you can see in your screen, there are 6 causes written. Now, third, I have already told you that what was the result? It was a failure. It was a failed revolt. Finally, when this revolt is failed, were there some changes made in these causes? Have the Britishers changed their policy? Yes, they did so. That we'll be studying in the upcoming slides. First, let us discuss the causes of the revolt. Why did this revolt happen? First, let us discuss the political causes. See, British policies of annexation. British came to India to rule over India. Now, suppose I want to rule one state. How can I rule? Annex it, completely destroy it. And once I destroy their army, their culture, their religion, their politics, everything, I'll be able to rule it. Same thing British did. They used the policy of annexation. Annexation means, how did they use? They annexed the states. They used Doctrine of Lapse. They used subsidiary alliance policy, and they used effective control policy, etc. And finally, at the end, there was a war. If you are accepting, that's okay. Otherwise, there is a war. Option of war is always open. Second political cause, they shown disrespect to the Mughal emperor. Everything will be writing it down. See, everything will be writing, but don't write down right now. Just try to understand that what else will be reading in this chapter. Now, suppose I come to your nation and start ruling you, or start trading with you. All of the sudden, I insult the head of your state. What will you do? You'll not be fine with that. You'll be against me. Same thing happened. These Britishers came to India and they disrespected our emperor. He is our king. How can you disrespect him? So, second was they disrespected to Mughal emperor. Third, annexation of Awadh. Awadh means Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Uttarakhand, that region starting from Delhi and going up to Patna. That region is generally termed as Awadh. British annexed it. Now understand, Uttar Pradesh is a huge state and it has a huge population. Same thing happened in 1857 also. In 1857 also, it had a huge population. And since these are the plains and people decide to live in plain, that was a Ganga Yamuna plain. That was very good for farming. They annexed it. Now there was one guy, Nana Sahib, he was also an Indian, he was a true nationalist. Britishers, what did they do? They have treated him in a very bad manner. Now what else were the political? There was unpopular administration. Like earlier, administration was based on the village. Now in a village, a villager or a landlord means not actually the owner of the land, but the one who controls it. He's a rich man. Landlord is always a rich man. So what Britishers did, they changed the landlord. Now there were some rumors also. Rumors we'll be discussing, like Britishers are not bad, Britishers are good, but they'll be out in one go if we'll fight against them. This was the rumor. There was one rumor that Britishers, no, they are not good, they are bad and we have to kill them. So that was the second rumor. So there were many rumors. Let us discuss now the economic causes. See, one political, you got it, that why broad extension of political causes you get it. Now we will be discussing it in detail also. Let's come to the economic causes. See, understand one thing. Money plays very important role in ruling a nation. If you don't have money, what will you do? Right? You need money. For what purpose you need? To food, for shelter, everything you need money. For each and every work you need money. So now what happened? Now actually let us first talk about the middle class people and the rich class people. See, rich class people, they were having huge number of money, they were money lenders and everything. Now if I take your work and take the task done by you, your source of earning is gone. Now what? Now you're not having money, you're poor enough, so your prestige is gone. Most important part, your prestige is gone. This is for the rich people. Coming to the middle class and the peasantry class. Suppose a painter is there. Who buys the painting? Rich people. Who are these rich people? They are the kings, nobles, ministers. Now first, what did Britishers do? Understand first thing. Politically, they thrown out your emperor. Now what this emperor used to buy? Your paintings. That is, you are the artisans. So what happened? They destroyed the fabric of artisans. They destroyed the handicraft. Handicraft means whatever things made of hand, be it a woven cloth, be it a pottery, be it anything. So these Britishers never bought. Earlier kings used to buy, now they are not buying it. Now what they'll do? They'll have to find a new job. So the handicraft industry was now ruined. Now coming to the more lower class people, that is the farmers, there was a huge taxation on them. Whatever you earn, pay half of it in the tax. Now, is it okay if you pay half of it in the tax? Suppose you earn 100 rupees and if you pay 50 rupees tax, such a heavy taxation. That's hilarious. So burden was on Indians. Now Britishers never paid tax. What else they did? They confiscated your land. If you're paying me tax, then it's okay. If you're not paying me, I'm going to take your land. So they confiscated land. Now what else? There were famines, there was loss of job, extreme hardship was there for people. Now next, there were some military causes. Now we discussed two. We discussed political, we discussed economic. Now coming to the military. Initially I told you that we'll be discussing the 6 causes: political, social, economic, military, immediate cause and administrative causes. Political we have discussed, economic we have discussed, right? Now let's come to the third most important, that is military causes. These are very important. See, at the end of the day, who is fighting in the world? Only the soldiers, and they are protecting the world. Who is protecting India? Soldiers. So, suppose if they revolt, what will happen? We can't even think of it. Same thing happened in the military. In military, generally sepoys were Indians. Now, what happened way back around 150 years ago in 1857? What happened? People used to think that I'll not be crossing the sea. Once I cross the sea or the ocean, my religion is gone forever. So, this was the first cause. Now, in India, you already know that in the past we were having casteism. Casteism means a person from higher class is never going to eat with a person with lower class. But in military, everyone was treated equal. Why? Because military was controlled by Britishers and they treated everyone equally. So there were some religious issues among the soldiers. Another issue was that, see, I don't eat meat, I don't drink. What does that mean? In military, you have to do that. There was a rumor. What was that rumor? That Enfield cartridges are made of pig oil. So, what next? That a beef was mixed with the atta, with the flour, and you are being fed with the beef. Every sort of rumor came. Now, what other causes were there with the sepoys? Sepoys were paid very low salaries when compared to Britishers. So they were having low salaries. So their allowances were also very low. Secondly, understand one thing, as huge population was there in Awadh and they were farmers. When they got a job, they took a job. What they became? They became soldier. So who actually they were? They were farmers in dress. Now, if I'm the soldier and you're killing my emperor, or if you are harming my state, I'll be against you. Same thing happened. Annexation of Awadh plays a vital role. Now again, disproportion between Indian and British troops, that is, British were paid much more than that of Indians. There was a discontent among every army, not only in Bengal. It's written over here in Bengal army, but actually every sepoy was discontent. Every sepoy was carrying some grudges against the Britishers. Now, Indian soldiers were humiliated again and again and again against their counterpart. Right? Now, what happened? That Indians never went out of the nation. But during the Afghan war, Indians had to go out. And when they returned back, their society didn't accept. So, sepoys were never happy. So, we understood three causes. One political, second economic, third military causes. Now, let's come to the religious causes. See, initially, when Sikh and Muslims, they entered in the army, they were told that you can keep the beard and you can keep their hair long. But later on, what happened? One general, a military general, he passed an order. And that order means, now you can't wear the turban and you can't keep a long beard. You'll have to cut it down. Soldiers, they refused that, no, this is our religion. Our religion says that you'll have to keep the hair long and you'll have to keep the long beard. But Britishers didn't do that. So Britishers fired them out of the job. Now they were jobless. Now a person who is a jobless, who was in our army, he'll definitely revolt. Same thing happened. He revolted against. Now, what are the immediate causes of the revolt? See, there are administrative causes also, which are not given over in the PDF. Actually, earlier, judiciary, policing, everything was there in the hand of Jamindar. Now, when the administration changed, there came a judiciary, there came offices, there came red tapeism. Red tapeism stance means that if you want to get your work done by the government, you'll have to stand in a long queue. It take days and days and days. These things they turned Indians against the Britishers. Okay, you got the administrative cause also. Now, what are the immediate cause? See, British government introduced new Enfield rifle. Enfield rifle means a big gun. What happened in that gun? You'll have to open the cartridge. Cartridge means that cartouche, what you call in Hindi, that is to be removed by mouth. Now, someone told that it was just a rumor, and someone rumored that these cartridges, they are greased with cow and pig fat. Now Hindus can never kill cow, and Muslims, they can never kill a pig. So touching also, at times, touching a pig or touching a meat of cow is considered as an attempt to destroy your religion. Same thing happened when these soldiers, they got to know that British was attempting to destroy their religion. What did they did? They revolted. Soldiers revolted. Initially, there was a soldier named Mangal Pandey in the British regiment. He fired at his senior and he killed his senior. Though he was hanged, but understand that he fired against his senior. It was in Meerut. He was working with 34th Naval Native Infantry. He fired against his senior. He killed him, though he was later on hanged. So these are the certain immediate causes. Now let us discuss the political causes in detail. See, what we discussed already, I have already given you the background of causes. The background of political causes I have given you. I have given you social religious causes, economic causes, military causes, and administrative causes, and immediate causes also. Now let us discuss it in detail. First, let us discuss political causes in detail. See, whenever there is a change in policy, or whenever there is a change in a policy making, that means there is administrative change. But when the ruler himself changes, then that means there is a change in politics. Who is now ruling? The ruling class change, that means change in politics. Now what happened in India? Ruling class changed. There was a British policy of annexation. Annexation means now you have your state, but I'll annex it. Now you won't have your state. I'll be the new king. Same thing Britishers did. Britishers, what they did? They came to India as traders. Slowly they made wars and they annexed. They started annexing the states. How did they annex? You can't come and say, today I'll fight with you. Let's fight. I'm going to finish you. Is it so? No. They had a broad policy and they have a very determined policy. What was that? First, they'll come, they introduce a doctrine of lapse. What does that? There was a general named Lord Dalhousie. So, actually, you can consider him as the most unethical person in the history. He came, he started doctrine of lapse. That means if a person dies without any heir, that is if he dies without a son and he adopts a son, then that adopted son will be having no right over the state. That was doctrine of lapse. Understand this again. Suppose if a king dies and he dies without any son, then his adopted son will not be having any right over the state. Now, if he is a born son, then it's not an issue. But if he is adopted, he is not having any right over the state. Right? So that was doctrine of lapse. Second important policy was subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance means you do whatever you want to do, you rule, but your military will be mine. And I'll be keeping the military to protect you. But for keeping that military, you will have to pay me. once you submit your military, once you submit your entire military powers, you are done for the day. That is your dead end. What did they do? They took off the military from local rulers and they were made to do subsidiary alliance. That means now I am the king, but I don't have the gun. And now without gun, how you will fight? So to fight, if you are the king, you need a gun, you need a weapon. Now you don't have weapon. So now what? Now you can't win. Slowly what happened? They made subsidiary alliance with many states and they finished these states. An entire nation was under the rule of Britishers. So Doctrine of Lapse introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Similarly, subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley. Now there are more number of things which they did. Not only this. What they did, they annexed some state on the name of maladministration, that you are not a good ruler, that's why we will replace you. Now let's read the Doctrine of Lapse. Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi, what happened? She was not having any son. She adopted one son after the death of her husband. Her husband died without any children. Now that son was never accepted as the ruler by the Britishers, and Britishers told that no, Jhansi is no more and we will be ruling Jhansi. During that time, his wife, that is Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi, she revolted against the Britishers. Okay, you understood it? Now, understanding the disrespect of the Mughal emperor. See, last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah, what happened to him? He was having one son. His name was Prince Fakhruddin. He died. And when the son died, what did they do? They took the Mughal emperor and sent him to the Rangoon in 1856, after the revolt 1857. Now when Fakhruddin, he was not recognized as the king, it was clear that they are deceiving the authority of Mughals. And Mughals, who are Mughals? They are the king, they are the actual rulers, those who made the nations. And you are disrespecting our king. Mughals, they were actual king, they were the well-wishers of Indians. Now you are disrespecting them. How can this be tolerated? Now once you start disrespecting the Mughals, you are out of the race. We are against you. Same thing our Indians did. When they disrespected the Mughal emperor, every person in the territory was against the Britishers. Right? Next, annexation of Awadh. As I already told you, who were soldiers? They were peasants in dress. From where did they come? They came from Awadh. Now, Awadh was ruled by the king named Wajid Ali Shah. Now, there are three types in which you can annex a state. One, subsidiary alliance. Second, doctrine of lapse. Third is annexation directly by war. So, there was a king named Wajid Ali Shah. Wajid Ali Shah was deposed. He was told that, see, you are not a good ruler, you are not ruling in a well efficient manner, now you get lost. And he was told to go out. Now, if you are saying such words to my king, then will I tolerate you? Of course not. He is my king. He gives me food. Now, Wajid Ali Shah, though he was a king, but he was well-wisher of each and every Indian. And you are throwing him out. Will it be accepted? Never. So people of Awadh, they never accepted such a treatment to their king. And when he was thrown out, Wajid Ali Shah, when he was thrown out, what people did? They were very angry towards the British since their beloved ruler was kicked out. Okay, next, what next happened? See, administration of British was not good in Awadh. What did they do? They drained away the wealth of India. They took away the wealth. How did they do? By the drain of wealth theory, which we'll be studying further in the upcoming lectures, we'll understand how the entire wealth of India was drained out. Right? Second, what did they do? They never acknowledged the customs and traditions of the Indians. Now, if you have a tradition, then it's okay. But Britishers always interfered in customs and traditions. Further, what else they do? Now, there were some high posts, some higher offices were only given to the Britishers. Indians were excluded. Indians were never given high post. Even if you are very educated or something like that, they'll not give you a good post. Right? Now, Indians were not very comfortable with this. So they revolted. Their administration was not good. There was rumor also. What that rumor was, that we can kill the British. British came only for 100 years. They are not so good people. We can easily kill them. This rumor gave them the thrust that yes, you can fight, you can kill them. Understood the political causes? What were the political causes? You understood it? First, British policy of annexation, subsidiary alliance, and Doctrine of Lapse. Second, disrespect to the Mughal emperor, disrespect to the Awadh emperor, and their annexation of Awadh, their unpopular administration, everything. We understood it. Now let's come to the economic causes in detail. We already understood the political causes. Now coming to the economic causes of the revolt.